A very good morning to all the new students who are joining us for today's bridge course. Today we are going to talk about relevance of social sciences for law. Right. So if there are any questions, I would request all the students to raise their hands so that they can request to speak. They can put their questions in the chat box. Okay. Am I audible to all? Can the students respond? All right. So we are going to start with today's topic, which is the relevance of social sciences for law and why should law students study social sciences. So let's start. We will be starting with understanding what is social science, what it deals with, what are the topics or the subjects in social science, and then relate it with law. So the meaning of social sciences is the study of people in society. Social science is the branch of science devoted to the studies of societies and the relationships among individuals within those societies. So it is dealing with people especially and the society and the interrelationships between people and how they live together. So it is especially dealing with their activities, their relationships with each other, and hence it is about human behavior. So social sciences subjects deal with your analysis of the human behavior. Hence, it is science also because it gives an analysis, it predicts relationships, it gives an idea, or it also deals with how one should behave in a society, and it creates certain rules and regulations for these interrelationships between people. Hence, it is relating with certain rules that will abide all people in the society, and hence law will come into being because law gives us rules and regulations of behavior. We'll go forward and you'll see it more. So if I hope everybody is understanding, and if there are questions, you can put in the chat box. Right. So these are the various subjects that come under social science. So it is human geography, economics, linguistics, political science, anthropology, sociology, psychology, law, development studies, and cultural studies. Communication and cultural studies are the very recent subjects which are being added to social science because we have realized that communication and communicating with each other is very, very important for everybody in today's time. Hence, it is become part of social science. If you see, development studies has also become part because we are going to talk about how we should develop our society, our culture, so that it helps us. So economics is there, political science is there, sociology is there, and your subject, law, is also there. So law itself is considered as a subject under social science. So it is of great importance to social science, and social sciences subjects affect law because it is part of the umbrella. If you see, it is part of that umbrella. Hence, it is of utmost importance to have an analysis, and hence we are going to talk about it today. So what I want to emphasize on is that while you are coming to study law, you need to have an awareness about social science even if you're not studying. So for BBA LLB students, if you're not directly studying social sciences, it is good and it is recommended that you are aware of the social sciences subjects. And how will you be aware of it? By reading, by your newspaper awareness. So a lawyer requires a lot of awareness. A lawyer should not confine itself to only what we are being taught about. It requires a lawyer to have a lot of importance apart from what he or she is studying as a course. So hence the focus of today's bridge course is talking about what kind of awarenesses you require, what are the attributes of a good lawyer which are linked to social sciences. I will link it and tell you, and will also tell you how you can improve on these skills, or you can just gain these skills if you think that are not too good at certain things, and how you're going to do about it by getting awareness, by getting training by yourself, even if you're not studying under the law course. You students are coming from college, from school to college, and hence it's a big jump. And what are the requirements to come and gain as a law professional in the professional course of law is the today's topic. Now, while law is considered as part of social sciences is the question, and I would like you people to answer, and then we will discuss about it a little more. So I would request the students to put their answers in the chat box. What is your opinion that law is considered as a social science? Because we have seen what do you mean by social science, and we have also seen that in that big umbrella of subjects, law is also part of it. So I would like you people to respond and give me your interpretation of why do you think law was considered, and law is considered as a very, very important part of social science. And then we are going to talk about it a little more. So I'm giving you another 2 minutes to write in the chat box so that I can see the responses. Okay, Ayush has given me because it deals with the society, right? Kabir is saying that we see law happening in our daily lives, correct? Then any crime, Ekam is writing that any crime affects the society as whole. So we can assume there is a link between society and law, right? Very good. Okay, Shania is, law is meant for the social peace of the society. Manisha is saying society and law are closely related. Didar Kaur is saying because law originates and is enforced within the society only. Very nice. Suhani is saying because law is a part of social science. One second. Because law is a part of social science, it helps many people as a whole, right? Gaurav is saying because we interact with society, okay. Ritik is saying law tells us the nature to live the social life, correct? And Aryaman is saying a norm of conduct, and Rupanshi is saying law is considered as a social science as it grows and develops with the changing needs of the society. I'm very impressed with all the answers the students have given, and all are correct in their own sphere. So I would like, and others have also written, so I am really sorry I won't be able to read out all the answers. So let's talk about it now, that yes, law is dealing with people. If what are laws? Laws are to regulate the society under certain rules and regulations. So law without the society will have no influence and no meaning. Hence, society, people are very, very important for law. Hence, law is considered as a very, very important part of social science. Let's talk about what is the definitions of law given. Law is a system of rules created and enforced through social or governmental institutions to regulate behavior. So law is also enforced by social institutions, not only governmental. Even if they are regulated by governmental institutions, that governmental institutions are created by people, by society. So hence, this definition is telling us that yes, law is dealing with society. It is creating certain behavioral regulation for the society so that there are less disputes, right? Now, law is binding custom or practice of a community, a rule of conduct or action prescribed. So again, it is also considered as a custom. What is a custom? Custom is what people have agreed upon and they want to continue with those rules or those set behaviors which they have considered as right. So customs are not, they can always not be binding, but they are also considered as a source of law or sometimes law in itself. So customs are basically certain practices which people as a community have been following, and they think that they should continue with that without having any breaks in it, without changing it, and hence it becomes law in itself. So law is dealing with society, telling us what is right, what is wrong, how we should solve our disputes if we have with ourselves, among ourselves in the society. Hence, it is dealing with social science, and it is a very much part of social sciences, and hence considered as a very, very important subject of social sciences. Thank you all for giving your important insights, and thank you for responding. And I'm liking it that it is becoming not a one-way conversation, but I'm getting responses from the students. Right. Now let's talk about what do you see as the good attributes of a lawyer? What are the characteristics or attributes which makes a lawyer successful, and it is essential that these qualities are with the lawyer. So good communication skills. Now, as a lawyer, you have to communicate with your clients. That is the first and foremost thing. And also it is that if you communicate, then only they'll come to you and tell you your problem and everything. So consultation or clients are very, very important for a lawyer. and to have a good number of clients and to deal with the clients, a good communication skills is required. That is one. Now, if you've got a case and you have to approach to the court, then your communication skills will only define and will tell how you are going to present your case to the judge and how he or she as a judge will give their judgment on how you're presenting your case. So there also the communication skills are required. Now let's see how these communication skills is linked with social science and how social science helps you in good communication skills. Now, social sciences, I always tell students in my class, is nothing is right and wrong because everything is interconnected. So it is a classroom, it is a subject, it is an arena where you can put up your ideas in a very free manner. And you can come and debate and discuss, and it gives you and it enhances your communication skills there. And the idea and the discussions of social sciences is about how people are communicating, what are their problems, how, see, if you see history, it will be talking about how people used to, exist in the older times and how they are now, what is the evolution, what was the culture that we have been following even today, or what are the changes that we have brought. And if you see sociology, it is talking about society, it is talking about, how people coming together, how people form families, then these group of families from villages, and the group of villages forms the entire state or the district, and so on. So it tells us about society, people, and obviously it will have discussions about how to communicate. So the entire environment talks about good communication skills, and social sciences talks about that. Now, if you consider political science also, it talks about the politics of the society, and it gives you ideas about new, what is freedom, what is democracy, what is constitution. So, and the parliament, which is the basic house of discussion, and if people are communicating there, then only we are having its interpretation in rules and regulations. So social sciences prepares you to be a good communicator, to have a vast idea and knowledge about various events and various ideas and about the society, so that you are better able to understand, communicate with your clients and with the judges. So this is about the communication skills. Now, judgment is very important for a lawyer, whether you are, it is not judgment only for the judges. Judgment is also very important for the lawyers. The ability to draw reasonable, logical conclusions or assumptions from the limited information is the essence, right? So assumptions about from a limited information that you are being provided, the facts, and you have to make your own logical conclusions relating to that. So social sciences helps you, gives you a lot of different situations, problems which people deal with, and it helps us with the judgment criteria or how you judge things. So if you are aware of more things, it will help in the judgment, because then you'll be able to conclude well. Okay. After the analytical skills, I will take up the questions. I can see one of the questions being on the chat box. So I will reply after I am finished with this slide. Analytical skills is both the study and practice of law involve absorbing large quantities of information, then having to distill it into something manageable and logical. So, judgment and analytical skills require comprising of understanding the larger information and giving your own understanding to it, or shortening it into comprehensible things. So all the subjects and all the problems that you see in the society gives you an awareness about how you have to deal if certain situation comes up, how you're going to deal with it. So obviously these two qualities of a lawyer, if you have awareness about social sciences, and if you are accustomed to that environment of debate and discussion and awareness, it will help you in the judgment and analytical skills. Right. Now, I would like to take up the question which is put up by Guneet. How do we have a good communication skills? You can have good communication skills if you have a habit of reading. You read a lot, then you comprehend that information in your own words. So communication is not only talking, it is also writing. So if you inculcate the habit of reading and writing, then you can come up with your good communication skills. And in the classroom, and when you come to college, you will be given a lot of chance of public speaking, and your inhibitions goes if you are talking with a lot of people and you are confident in putting up your point of views in front of others. It will obviously help you in your good communication skills. Okay, Radhika is asking, before I start this slide, I would like to go on the previous one because there is a question. Okay, Radhika, we can polish our analytical skills by reading and by talking about and exploring the problems of day to day and coming up with our own solutions. We can also read and talk about any problems and then think that what kind of solutions we can provide. So analysis of any situations and our own innovative ideas about that will help us in building our analytical skills. Now, people skills and communication skills are linked with each other, and we can say that as a lawyer, we have to have day-to-day interaction with people, and we are dealing with the problems of the people also. So it is very important that we have good people skills, good communication skills. We are not hesitant in talking to people. We have that kind of a personality where we are outgoing and we like to interact with people, and that those kind of things will help us develop our people skills. Now, creativity is very important because how you are displaying your problems, how we are displaying and giving a creative solution to the problem which has come to us as a case is all about how successful a lawyer is. How you are maneuvering what the facts and how they are given to you, and it is your interpretation of the problems is creativity. So, social sciences as a subject, because it is open-ended, it gives an again awareness about various situations, peoples, cultures, religions, languages. So, gives you an arena of creativity and opens up a space where you can go and write and have a space where you can display your creativity. Okay. Now Tina is asking a question. Ma'am, how we more relevant to daily social awareness? Okay, maybe you are asking how we can become more aware of the day-to-day social awareness about issues. It is through the media and news, newspapers, any kind of news. And obviously, your subjects will also give you because it deals with them. Even law as a subject also deals with various social causes, issues, which will help you in your enhancing the information and knowledge about social issues. Now, we have been talking about that, law is linked with social science, but law also impacts social science. I would like to talk about this in this slide and give you an analysis of this. Now, there is an interaction between social sciences and law, and we know that there are certain things that impact laws, but laws also, in a way, impact social sciences and it impacts social change, it impacts developments, and it impacts the lives of the people. So any progressive laws are seen to be affecting us and they help us in development. Now, laws plays an agent of modernization and social change. It is an indicator of nature of societal complexity and its attendant problems of integration. Further, the reinforcement of our belief in the age of old panchayat system, the abolition of the practice of untouchability, child marriage, sati, dowry, etc., are illustrations of social change being brought about in the country through law. So, there are certain evils of the society, like sati, like child marriage, like untouchability, which have been overcome by law because progressive legislations have been brought and a stoppage on these crimes and these social evils have been put by law on them. Now, law is an effective medium of agency, instrumental in bringing about social change in the country or in any region in particular. Therefore, we regenerate our belief that law has been pivotal in introducing changes in the societal structure and relationships and continues to be so. So, law has been brought social change in our country. We have seen this over the years, and hence it gives us an important medium that of social change brought by law, legislations, and the judgments of the higher courts, especially the highest court, which is the Supreme Court. So, if you see that PIL, for example, the public interest litigation, was brought a lot of change in the how judiciary was working earlier and what is its impact today? Kabir, I will take up your question in a while. So, and I would like you people to keep your questions, and after the sessions, after the we are finished with the slides, we can take up. We will all. I would also like you people to introduce yourselves to me, and we can have your interaction with me and tell us what interests you and what interests you in terms of subjects in social sciences or otherwise also. Now, I was talking about PIL. Public interest litigation has brought a lot of change in how cases are coming to the courts. Earlier, only the person concerned or who has been affected could come to the courts for their problems. But now, with the coming of the public interest litigation, any third person or any societal organization or an NGO can bring the cases up to the courts and have their cases heard. So you can say that law is impacting society and trying to change and come up with a very progressive change. Now, history and law are interrelated. Today, we are going to talk about history and sociology a little bit. And tomorrow's session, we'll be talking about concentrating our class on political science. I would like to take a minute and you talk about, give your questions, and then I'm going to. Okay. Before starting with the interrelationship between history and law, let me take up the question from Kabir. Okay. Ma'am, can we prefer novel reading for improving communication skills or newspaper reading? Kabir, any kind of reading will always help you with your communication skills. So, whether it is novels or newspapers, but since you are law students, I would suggest that you take up newspaper reading more over novel reading. But if you find that I would prefer novel reading, that is okay. It will help you in your writing skills, in your communication skills. It will improve your language. But having a habit of newspaper reading, especially for lawyers, is very, very important because it will give you updated about any change or the new happenings in the world around, and will give you added perspective on law also, and give you updated with the news. So the newspaper reading is better for especially law students. Now, interrelationship between history and law. History is said to be the root of all present day human institutions. So, whatever we had and whatever we have today as institutions built, rules and regulations, governmental structure, culture, society, language, everything is rooted in history. So, history evolves from the events of society, and so whatever is there in the society will help you in uh, understanding of what exists today is what was there in the past. So, it is very important for us to have an analysis of what was earlier, what are the kind of uh, events or culture or institutions or laws that were existing will help us analyze in today's time. Now, talking about law, the basic means of law is to regulate the society. So, it is very important to understand the society and the frame law in accordance with the society. We have to know the history. So, what kind of laws are applicable in today's time? What is the structural changes or the societal changes? It is important to understand what was earlier, to have an analysis of what can be today and what is today. So, history and law are very much linked because there were certain institutions, laws that were prevailing in the previous time also, and hence it has an impact in today's time as well. So they are linked with each other very much. Now, even in law, precedence is considered as an important source for the future cases, which is really a history in itself. So even the case laws or the cases that have, or the decisions of the courts that were given earlier are considered as precedents, and they are history in itself. So, if a crime had happened or a situation had come and a decision of the court happens and a similar kind of things happens today or with a certain or a minor variation, then obviously we can look back and we can depend on the precedents. And that is why the precedents are so important in law. So, hence, they are considered to be history in itself. And hence, history and law are very much linked with each other. They are dependent on each other, and they continue to remain in that ways. And I think, if you are aware of what was there today, what are the problems people faced in the earlier times, the solutions given to the problems they faced, we can use it in today's time, and it is very much um, linked and very much applicable and apt in today's time also. So, history and law are very much linked. In the legal history, we talk about and you will be taught about the development of the rules and regulations in the ancient period, the kind of structure of government that was there, and hence the rules and regulations, and how they were applicable in the society. Also, you will be taught about the development of the courts in India, and how they slowly developed and they have taken the shape of law courts today. So, hence, history and law interdependent to each other. History has a relevance to law, and they are interdependent, interlinked. Social sciences are dependent on law, and social sciences is relevant for law. It is interdependent, and they have a mutual trust and relationship. Okay, now I would like to take a few questions and then move forward. Kanika is asking that, ma'am, how can I increase my creativity? Kanika, you can increase your creativity by creatively writing on any topic. So, writing skills, talking, and again reading gives you ideas, gives you topics of writing more, and it gives you your creativity. So take up any topic, give your analysis to it, and it will increase your creativity. Now, Vaghatha is asking that, ma'am, does precedence depends on the will of the judges that it should be applied in new cases? See, the precedents are certain judgments which was already be given by the judges. They can be taken as a reference. Not that you should blindly depend on them, but they can surely be used as a reference. So, hence, they are important. Okay. Any more questions you have? And then I would like you people to give me a few people to give me your introduction and also your areas of interest. Also, I would be discussing about a few things in a while, but since I have been, interacting, it's been a one-way conversation. So I would like you people to also come and give your point of views, your questions, and then we can uh, go forward with the class. Okay. Yeah, Smriti is asking, what is the difference between school time history and this history? Okay. So in the school, you must have studied about, the basic society and what were the dynasties in the earlier time. This history will be, since you are law students, will be dealing about legal history, about what kind of rules and regulations were there and what is its impact. Are we still following certain rules, laws, and what is the changes made in the laws that were existing, and in today's time how have they been made more applicable in today's time. For example, various family laws are still continuing, especially for the Muslim community. There not has been many changes in that. So, but there has been various changes in the Hindu law and Hindu family law. So, those kind of things, the development of the courts, what are the inception of courts done by the Britishers in India, and what there were Supreme Courts built by the Britishers in their various settlements that they had built, and what is, how are the Supreme Courts today? Are they linked with the kind of courts that were existing in earlier time or something like that? So the development of the high courts, the court system, especially in India. So all these things are being discussed. uh, Tina, not all kind of cases you need are important, but there are certain landmark cases which obviously help us and help you in today's analysis. Okay, so historical event laws are made in accordance with the historical events. Yes, they have an impact on us, and they give us an overview as to how things are to be done in today's time. Please put up your questions and I'll be coming again.
Good morning, students. This is Shivangi Sharma this side, your program coordinator for BA LLB and BBA LLB. Due to some unexpected reason, Muskan ma'am, who was taking your lecture for history, is not able to continue with this as she is facing some health issues all at sudden. So please excuse us for that. And I'm here to take all your questions if you have any with respect to with you all are sending me mails day and night. So let me know, students, if you have any question with respect to law, with respect to the programs, the things we are running nowadays. If you have any kind of questions, put us in the chat box. I can see all of your questions there. You're talking about historical cases with Muskan ma'am, Ram Mandir case, landmark cases includes legal history. See, landmark case does not include legal history. We not from a legal, I mean, from purely from history background. Being a teacher of law student, I must tell you, it's these are two separate domains. But yes, they merge in a stream, and law has never been studied in isolation, students. It always been understood in consonance with another subject. Okay. So, yes, it is a parallel line, and legal history is something different. Legal history is about the origin of legal system in India, how we have come up to this composition of justice, equality, and right all these things. So, this is a merger of it. It is important to study all the cases. This is a question by Tina. Just a minute. It is important to study all the cases. See, it is important to study all the cases of law. I think in the previous few classes, I believe in Dr. Ashu Dhiman on the second day taken your class, she has informed you there are various sources of law. So, students, as per the sources of law, you will study about precedents, you will study about customs, you will study about legislation. So, broadly, if we talk about, there are three basic sources of law. One is legislation, second is precedents, and third is customs. So, first is legislation, as you all know, that we see law in a form of an act. So, what is an act? Act is actually a law which was proposed as a bill in the parliament, and it has been passed by the legislature, and it has come before you in a form of an act. So that is a uh, uh, one of the source of law. Another source of law is precedent. Precedents are what? Precedents are the cases which have been decided by honorable courts in different matters. So these precedents are the case laws actually. And why it is important? It is important because whatever is being done throughout or in the past, that has to be within the domain of public. See, what is a case? Case is when there is a dispute. And when there is a dispute, it requires some redressal. It is resolved through judicial intervention. And when it is resolved through judicial intervention, it has been decided in the favor of one of the party. When it has been decided in favor of one of the party, it need to be addressed and published. Now here comes the doctrine of stare decisis in law. Now, what is this concept of stare decisis? It says let the decision stand in its rightful way. Now, which decision? Decision by our honorable legislation or decision by our honorable courts, judiciary. Let the decision stand in rightful way means that whatever the decision has been taken, whatever the law has been declared or formulated should come in public domain so that everybody get aware about it. So that is the concept of stare decisis. It is also being reflected when we talk about case laws. Now please listen carefully. When we discuss about case laws are the decisions which are enshrined and declared, and now they have been published in various law journals. AIR is All India Reporters. There are different kinds of reporters and journals which are published throughout, and they are carrying different cases which have been which are decided cases of High Court and Supreme Court, High Court of Chandigarh and Haryana High Court, or Delhi High Court, or any other High Court. So these are in a domain. When something has been published, they are in a public domain. So there the people can understand it, they can absorb it, they and others can use it. These publication, because their rights have been declared there, so they can use it as the right against the whole world. What right has been decided for them by the court? Now that is their individual right, but they put it in the public domain so that becomes a right in rem. Now there are two kinds of right. Now this is a jurisprudence of law. Jurisprudence of law means the theory of law, the knowledge of law, which means that whenever a law is being formulated, it should come in public domain so that others may become aware about it. So when I say it is a jurisprudence of law, it is a theory behind this concept of stare decisis, or a theory behind this concept of uh, what do we say, case laws or precedents. So when precedent has been declared, when a case law has been published, it has to be given due importance. So as a question been raised by one of the student, Tina, that it is important to study all the cases. It is important to study all the cases, but yes, in different subjects we do give due importance only to the celebrity cases, which actually resultant into declaration of some important concepts or some important rights of an individual or of any group. So that way, it is important to study only that part of case law or the analysis part, or what is relevant. So celebrity cases we call it in law. We read that kind of cases and understand that, because this is this is a whole big sea of cases. It is not expected that you will all remember all these cases, and you will learn them, and you are expected to study each and every case. It is not reasonable, right? So it is not expected so. But yes, it is important because it is in public domain so that others can read it, and their right can also be settled in that respect. Because if some other people have been given right considering that case, now you also been entitled being the one case is different from another because the facts of the cases are different, right? Smriti, what is the difference between school time history and this history? This is actually legal history, and detailed answer will be given by Muskan ma'am. This is legal history where we talk about evolution, where we talk about, see, this is an integrated program. Considering the uh, outcome, like after completing your BLLB, after completing your BBLB, you're not actually getting dual degree, but what you're getting is an integrated degree where you have been exposed in BLLB with different subjects of humanities like history, sociology, political science, whereas in BBLLB, commercial laws, moreover, these management subjects like POM, this is principles of management, managerial economics. These are the subjects which have been taught to you. So the inclination, the orientation of a student become a bit different in both the streams, and they gradually see law is never being studied in isolation. One thing, law is not a stream which can be taken as a career all alone. Law is a subject where you have diversified options to carry on your career, right? You have to make a matchup and merge. Like if you are doing BBLLB, there is options for going into different sectors where your BBA can be absorbed. The knowledge of BBA can be absorbed. Whereas in BA, the subjects you are studying in BBA will help you in grabbing different kinds of job in different fields, like being publishing house or different. There are a lot of venues there as well. So that is the difference, right, Smriti? Uh, Another question, ma'am: does the president depends on the will of the judge that it should be, or should it apply in new cases? See, good question, Bhagat. Uh, Precedent depends not on the wish of the judge or will of the judge. Precedent means a case which has been decided. Now it is put up in public domain so that it can be cited as authority case in other matters. So when a case has been decided, the case, in case what a judge gives is a judgment. Now judgment has two parts. Now this is, you are going into the details of the subject. Judgment has two parts. One is ratio decidendi, another is obiter dicta. Ratio decidendi, ratio of a judgment is the reason behind the judgment. And obiter dicta is the decision itself. So for example, there is a case of a contract where there are two parties, A and B. A has made a contract with B to do some job for B, and in return, he will get some remuneration or some consideration for it. A, by some reason, have not been able to complete that job, right? Because in this, let us take this example. This in this COVID situation, the A is not able to do that work, not be able to complete that work. So will B be able to get some compensation or damages? So that is the dispute. In this particular case, when the case has been decided, depending upon the facts which are being produced by both the sides, the judgment has been delivered, and this judgment will have the decision whether A will give compensation or damages to B, one part, which is actually the obiter of the case. That is the judgment, what has been decided. And the other part, on what reasons this judgment has been given, that of course depends upon the facts and the law. And that is the ratio of the case, which is the reason behind that judgment. So when you said that precedent depends upon the judge's will, depends on the will of the judge. No, it is not on the will of the judge. Every judgment should be a reasoned decision. It should be a reasoned decision. Okay? So judge has to give a reason for a judgment, whatever he has given. It cannot go like without any reason. Okay? It should be a reasonable one. How can you increase your creativity? You can increase your creativity, Kanika, by reading lot of newspapers and articles. In law, as I always say, one more thing I wanted to inform you. Law is about common sense, students. What a prudent man would do in such a situation is the reasonable thing. What would you do when you fall in different kind of a situation? That thing should be expected from others as well. And that is the test of reasonability. There are many cases in law. You'll feel very happy, and you feel very you'll wonder also, like, how the judiciary have decided upon this case. There are so beautiful principles about like remoteness of damages. Just to make you more interested in this particular thing, I must tell you there is a case in tort which says this is a case of remoteness of damages. One lady was going and on a road which is adjacent to stadium, a playing stadium, and there was a match going on. A ball went out and hit that lady who was walking on the road. Is that lady liable? Is that lady can get compensation from that cricket committee which is playing their game in that campus, in that stadium? Directly, if you see, yes, she has been hurt, not just hurt, she's been grievously hurt. It resulted in even her make her near to death. So what would be the situation? What would you say? At per se, on first look, you will say, yes, she deserves the compensation from the committee. But on the other hand, if we see, it is not expected. This is somehow it happens that ball was hit so hard by this person that it went out of the stadium and hurt this lady. This is not reasonable that in such situations she should be given compensation. Although, because due care was taken by all the authorities who has organized this cricket match in the stadium. So when due care and diligence has been taken, then no point of negligence can arise. So this is a case of not only of remoteness, but about the negligence on the part of the cricket committee. Getting it? So everything in law depends upon reasonability. What is reasonable? What is just? What is fair enough? Okay, taking, I hope you are getting something, because from nowhere I have appeared and talking about law. And as I told you, due to some reasons, creativity, I am telling you, Kanika, you please read newspaper regularly. It is very important for all the law students to read newspaper daily, because you get all the insights, legal news, everything which is going in and around our nation. And it wrinkles your mind, it brings on your creativity. If you're talking about article writing, if you're talking about publishing your articles or writing some piece of good work, you should read it, because unless you absorb something, you will not be able to pour it out. So absorb. This is the time for you all to absorb and understand law. You are at a very beginning stage. I get the feedback also from uh, Mr. Mukesh, who has taken your legal method class, and there were brilliant questions being raised by you all. I really appreciate that. And we are very happy that we have a good, brilliant bunch of students with us this time, and we'll feel privileged and happy to teach you people. So, so for creativity, I must tell you, read newspaper. Can we refer novel reading for improving communication skills and newspaper reading? Yes, Kabir, very true. Novel is generally a fictional document. So fictional, of course, the flair of the way they write, the things they're writing in it. Legal magazines are rather I would suggest, or start reading cases if you want, case briefs or case things about cases. There you'll find various journals. There are law journals. So don't read novels, rather you start reading journals. In journals, what you find, different articles are there. What are articles? Articles are the research part, what you think is new in this particular area and you wanted to pen down something, you thought about it. So the curiosity of writing an article would also be there. For that, I would suggest you all to read articles. So where will you find articles? Not newspaper articles, students, legal articles. In law journals, you'll find articles in law journals. If you search law journals, there are various law journals online available as well as offline published. So you can go through them. Tina is asking, ma'am, how we more relevant daily social awareness? Again, I would suggest newspaper. Good morning, Ishmeet. Good morning. Analytical skills. What are analytical skills, Radhika? Analytical skills are to analyze, are to evaluate, or see, there are two things: analytical skills, critical evaluations. You must have heard of, movie critics. What are they? They criticize something, in a sense. They are trying to put something in front of the public which they deserve to know. So they do something, a negative work which actually results and give positive output. So that is a critical evaluation in movies, right? When we talk about academics, what we do, see, I every always tell to my students, as I told you in my first lecture, there are various jurists in law, जो legal luminaries हैं, जो कह सकते हैं विद्वान हैं law के. What they have said, one of such vidwan, one jurist was Jeremy Bentham. He says, obey punctually and censure freely. निष्ठा से पालन करो और फिर स्वतंत्रता से आलोचना करो. What does that mean? कि पहले ओबे करें पंक्चुअली और उसके बाद आलोचना करने का अधिकार अपने आप मिल जाएगा. तो ओबे पंक्चुअली एंड देन सेंश्योर फ्रीली. सो आई वुड सजेस्ट यू कि आप एनालिटिकल स्किल्स का मतलब हुआ कि आप किसी चीज को जब एनालाइज करना चाहते हैं, जैसे मैंने आपको जजमेंट के बारे में बताया स्टूडेंट्स कि जजमेंट क्या है. जजमेंट के टू पार्ट्स होते हैं. तो इट इज नॉट द जजेस विश एंड विल अकॉर्डिंग टू विच ही डिसाइड्स द केस. ही हैज टू गिव अ रीजन फॉर दैट जजमेंट, right? So when it says when we analyze it, so whenever you analyze a case, what will you do? You analyze the judgment, that what was the ratio behind this particular judgment, right? You might have observed in various cases It has been said always that law do not support common people. It is the disobedience of law, and law and order situation is not good in India. Why not people have been convicted harsh for the offense they have committed, be it Damini case or any such kind of brutal cruelty done to any women or downtrodden people. It should be, this is the common thing which comes in our mind. But as a law student, you must understand and read all these kinds of cases to understand what law says for them and what is the policy behind framing all these laws. The policy behind framing all these laws, when we talk about IPC, what is it? IPC is Indian Penal Code. What are the theories behind creating IPC? It was being framed by First Law Commission, right? And where Lord Macaulay was one of the member of that committee, and he bring IPC to us. IPC is a very old legislation in India, 1860. 1860 legislation, we are still using it. Of course, it requires reformation. It requires some amendment. But this amendment, reformation, when it will come into force? When people needs it. As I told in my first lecture, if you remember, law is of a dynamic nature. It keeps on changing depending upon the needs of people. Right. So when you want to analyze something and try to analyze, once you have to read it. Right. So when I'm saying IPC, it is based on some theory. What kind of theory? Theory of justice. Which theory of justice? Retributive, reformative. There are various theories of justice. Now, what is reformative? That we wanted to reform the criminal. We do not want to give eye for eye or a tooth for tooth. We do not follow this kind of situation in India. We have formulated retributive and reformative approach in Indian penal code. So that is the reason you've seen that the maximum there are at the last chance, the people who have done serious offense have been given even a mercy chance. And there is again an option of probation. If they do good in the jails, they are behaving properly, they are improving upon their behavior, they've been released soon. And again, a judgment differs. One judgment is different from another judgment. And one case, similarly, of theft, the punishment is up to 3 to 7 years. Then the punishment is, in one case, has been given for 3 years. In another case, it has been given for 1.5 years, and so on. So why there is such difference? Because the facts, the things which are being proved by advocates are different. What you ever been able to prove in the court will lead the judge to write his judgment. So that is the advocacy skill, students, that we're going to talk to you later, that how you convert a case. But then for improving your analytical skill, I suggest you that you please increase your reading habits and open up for all discussions. You should not, when we come up on discussion, you should not discuss just broadly on any topic. You should not feel shy away in discussing. Come on with open, healthy debates. This way you'll be able to improve upon your knowledge. Good communication skills, students. Again, we'll be conducting various debates, competition in the class. In every subject also, teachers promote you to give your presentations, be it contract, legal methods. So this way, you'll improve your communication skills. The way to improve your communication skills, student, you'll also have legal English as one of your subjects. So communication skill you can improve by having good discussion with your fellow friends, colleagues, writing good articles, and then reading it through. Give presentations. If you feel shy, come out of that shyness. Try to practice it at your home in front of a mirror. That is the best practice. And then later on, when you'll see the people we will force you to come up and present your moods. Right? From the first year itself, we want you to come up and prepare a case and present before your teachers. So this way, we'll help you out in every way to increase your communication skill and analytical skill, of course. Law and social science are closely related and both deals with the social life. Yes, true. So that is why I said it is not that law, we can never study law in isolation. So law is related with humanities, law is related with commerce, law is related with science, law is related with history. Every subject you name, every department you name, law is there. Because without law, nothing can operate. What is law? Rules, orders, system, a systematic normative way of doing any work within the guidelines. That is law. So when we talk about any department, any subject students, we are actually talking about law and how we can do it in a legal way. That is law. So we cannot have any stream, any subject without law. So that is why I said you have ample of opportunities in front of you when you have chosen this field. Yes, social awareness is very important in law, Tina. So that is why I said read newspaper. Law protects people from, Ria says, law protects people from social discrimination and justice. True. Shivu says it influences the society, civics and social. Civics is equal to social science is equal to law. Not only civics, everything. You now you see there is a airspace law, you maritime law, IPR, consumer protection, anything you name, it is related with law. And why it related with law? Everything need to be structured in a manner that if the dispute arise, if there is any confusion or complication, there should be a standard policy structure, and that is law. If I say any particular department is following their own bylaws or their own rules, what are these rules? Rules are also comes within the definition of law, and they cannot be unreasonable, they cannot be unjust, they cannot be biased. So what are these? These are again the principles of law. That whatever rule you frame should be just, fair, reasonable. So be it a rule, but at the same time, it is working as a law in that department. So that is what I'm trying to say. Isha says, law tells the nature to live the social life. Yes, because it has been presumed. Because in my first lecture, if you remember, I was telling that it has been presumed that we all are law-abiding citizens. लॉ जब फ्रेम किए जाते हैं तो क्या सोच के फ्रेम किए जाते हैं कि हम किन के लिए फ्रेम कर रहे हैं. चाहे हम आईपीसी की बात करें, हमने ये नहीं सोचा था कि इस तरह के भी ऑफेंस होंगे. आप देखेंगे अमेंडमेंट्स आई हैं लॉ में, मेजर अमेंडमेंट 375 rape laws. Never thought of there would be a case, we'll be witnessing such kind of case which happened in Damini case. We never thought of. Then judiciary came up with new amendments. They've changed the law. They've said that there would be grave punishment for these kind of heinous offenses. So it tells us how to live the social life. You says law tells the nature to live the social life. How it tell us to how we live the social life? It gives us the norms. It gives us the structure that how it has been presumed by all of us to behave. It has been presumed that we all are law-abiding citizens. And with this presumption, we are all civilized society. We belong and we are in a civilized society. We are the member of civilized society. What do you mean by civilized society? The society which is very much aware about their rights and duties. I'll take you another concept of jurisprudence. I take you to jurisprudence, students. Jurisprudence is the theory of law, as I said. It is the philosophy of law. And it has been said by another jurist in this theory, in jurisprudence, right and duties are jural correlatives. What are jural correlatives? ये एक दूसरे के पूरक हैं. When I say पूरक हैं, jural correlatives, I mean to say, when in one hand you have rights, another hand you have duties. You cannot only claim your rights without obeying your duties. You have to go hand in hand. If you're not, that is the same structure or the process applied when I say, the Bentham says, obey punctually and censure freely. First, obey your duties, then only you can claim your rights. So when I say obey punctually and then censure freely, पहले निष्ठा से पालन करें उन कानूनों का, तभी उनका आप मंथन कर सकते हैं या उनको क्रिटिसाइज कर सकते हैं. Getting it? So that is again the beauty of law, that it has been declared or described by various jurists in a very beautiful way. Even in first lecture, if I remember, I talk about Walt Savigny, where he talked about voltages, that is consciousness of the people, right? So, right, Isha. Rishabh says law is for the people, by the people, and so is social science meant. Yes, agreed, Rishabh. Kanika, because law is a part of our life and law is because of society. True, it is interrelated. Radhika, because law is all about dealing with society. Rupanshi, law is considered as a social science as it grows and develops with the changing needs of society. Very yes. Aryaman says it is a norm of conduct, right? Ritik Ratan, law tells the nature to live the social life. Yes. Gaurav, because we interact with society. Yes, we interact with society, we stay in society. Suhani says because law is a part of social science because it helps many people as a whole. You all are saying one and the same thing, students. Didar Kaur is also saying because law originates and is enforced with the society only. सोसाइटी में कौन लोग आते हैं? ये एनालिटिक्स है, ये एनालाइज करना है. दिस इज हाउ यू विल इंक्रीज योर एनालिटिकल स्किल्स, स्टूडेंट्स. How do you analyze? How will you do the critical analysis? कौन होते हैं society? What do you mean by society? Now start writing answers. What do you mean by society? Society में क्या animals भी आएंगे? A trigger for your mind. Animals आएंगे. Animals के लिए law. Can we declare or decide the manner in which animals should perform? Can we do that? Can we frame laws for them? When we say society, civilized society, जो अपने अधिकारों को समझते हैं, जो लॉ अबाइडिंग सिटीजन्स हैं. लॉ अबाइडिंग उन्हीं के लिए बनाए गए हैं लॉज, और जो उनका उल्लंघन करते हैं तो उनके लिए पनिशमेंट्स हैं. वी हैव आईपीसी विद अस, right? So think about it. This leads, I will put up questions which will trigger your mind. So there's a case also. There are various organizations working for the rights of animals or unborn child, fetus rights. There are many things in law to discuss and debate upon. Endless. Ata sagar hai ye, and you'll enjoy. Society and law are closely related. True, Manisha. Sanya, law is meant for social peace of the society. Yes, this is what Bentham says. For maximum pleasure and minimum pain. Law वो होना चाहिए जो हमें सिर्फ आराम दे, सुविधा दे, नुकसान ना दे. लेकिन वो तभी है जब हम लॉ अबाइडिंग सिटीजन्स हैं. अगर हम वो नहीं करेंगे तो we will receive pain. Ekam says any crime affects the society as whole. So we can assume there is a link between law and society. Yes. Kabir, because ma'am, we see law happening in our daily lives. Yes. Deals with society. Good morning, Radhika. Okay, students. Any more questions? Any question with respect to your cultural? Because today is the last date for submitting your videos there. So please mail to us. Okay. If you have any question, so put up here so that I can ask the cultural coordinator ma'am to come up and address you. If you have any questions, please put up here. One of the student has mailed me regarding that not being able to upload the videos through email. So please try to refresh and upload. That is the only solution. Otherwise, the entries are being done that ways only. Acha, one important thing, students, tomorrow we'll be having a class on Manupatra. Manupatra is a legal search engine. Some of you may be aware about it. So Manupatra is a legal search engine whereby the the coordinator for that, Mr. Pankaj, will be addressing you all, and he'll be telling you and taking you to the website of Manupatra, where he'll be telling you how to use this particular tool. This is a tool which has been used by legal luminaries, by lawyers, by judges, by law students to enhance their skill, to enhance their knowledge with respect to law. It is a kind of a search engine. It is a software on which you can search various articles and case law. As we were talking about case law, students, so you can search any case there, right? And every case has a citation. I think I'm sure you all have been told about the citations by Mukesh sir, that there is a citation particularly to a case, like in which year it has been decided and it has been published in which particular volume and in which journal. AIR 1996 215, so that is the page number and volume written there. So that is the citation. This is how we search a case in any journal or reporters. So on this, in our college, we have for all your assistance, all your help, we have Manupatra with us. So Manupatra is a search engine where you all can search articles, cases with respect to any subject, be it contract, be it anything. So you can search it there, and and you all require a demo for that. So we'll be keeping a kind of a webinar tomorrow from Manupatra, and they'll be taking you to the website, and we'll let you know how to use Manupatra. Okay. So tomorrow we'll have this kind of session. So that's all from our side, students. But if you have any queries with respect to this cultural event, which we'll be holding on 24th, so please let us know so that we can clarify your doubts, students. Please write in the chat box. Good morning, everyone. Tanish, Ayush, Nirbhay, Siddharth, Radhika, any doubt, beta? Anything you wanted to discuss? Okay. Yes, Charvi, you have any doubt? Please let us know. Kanika, Gaurav, you wanted to join us? I've allowed them to enter. Let us wait, Kanika and Gaurav. They're not joining. If there's any question, please put up in chat, students. Gaurav has joined. Gaurav, you have joined us. Please open up your camera and mic.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Gaurav. Anything you wanted to discuss, Gaurav?
No, ma'am, I have no doubt, ma'am, right now.
And you have joined for discussing any doubt with respect to cultural program?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Ma'am,
no.
everything is clear. मैम जस्ट आई वांट टू आस्क मैम एक डाउट है कि मैम हमें बुक्स कब प्रोवाइड होंगे मैम बुक्स कैसे मिलेंगी मैम
हम्म अभी चैट बॉक्स में भी क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं ऑफिशियल व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप के लिए. आई हैव इन्फॉर्म्ड many students via mail when they were sending me mails regarding WhatsApp groups and books. So, students' WhatsApp group will be created by your class teacher once you'll be allotted separate sections and classes. Like one is BLLB and second is BBLLB. You will be allotted a class teacher. Then class teacher will be taking care of creating the groups so that the information can be floated easily among you all. Moreover, we generally take classes on Teams platform, students. So there is again an option of posting your messages where you information will be floated to you all. So this is a formal way of communication. In our institute, we generally follow a formal way of communication rather than informal way of communication, students. So kindly wait so that you all can join us in a formal platform. Moreover, for books, students, there is an option of book bank. Book bank will be given to you all. Very soon, we'll be releasing a schedule, a date structure whereby you will be allowed to come and collect if you wanted to collect. Due to this pandemic situation, some students or some of your parents may not allow you to come and collect the books. That is perfectly all right. For your convenience, we may upload the books also in a soft copy. So where we'll be uploading in Teams platform. So we are in a process of creating your class-wise team structures with us, and we'll be informing you about your classes and your book system very soon, because there's a process of appointment. We do not allow a rush in our college in this pandemic, and we allow students to come to the college with appointment. So there is an option of taking appointment to visit college on the website. So when you go there, there is an option, and you with an appointment you can come to collect for your book bank. So we do have a book bank option as we have informed you at the admission time, and that will be given to you all. And for your convenience, every book will also be converted into soft copy and it will be uploaded on Teams. So this is just for the time being that it is, we are taking log, we are structuring your teams class wise, and very soon we'll be flooring everything for you. So don't worry, you will be given all your books. No, books not only online, we will give you the books in hard copy. We will give you books to study in hard copy. For that, you need to come to college and collect the books. It's and just kindly wait. We have not started the BLLB or BBLLB first year books book bank dispersion. So kindly wait. We'll open up with proper formal notification. Thereby, you can come and collect. So please wait for that for an official announcement. Okay. Kanika is raising a question. Ma'am, is social science is in BBA LLB course also? Social science, if you hereby mean history and political science, so I would say as subject, no, social science is not there. But in bridge course, we are taking you and talking about history and political science because we feel it is very important, be it you a BBA student or BSc LLB student or BA LLB student or any, if you're doing law, it is very important to understand legal history, students. That is why we have introduced legal history and political science, a 1 day session for approximately 2 days for this bridge course. Yes, Priti, I have seen your mail, but for time being, we cannot comment. It is totally up to your wish to take leads. Because as per university norm, students, I must inform you what university says that student must attend at least 75% classes. So whenever we'll start class what you all have to ensure is that you must attend at least 75% classes. That is the minimum classes required to be attended by any law student, right? And this is a university requirement. And if you do not attend that, if you fall short of it, yes, the college, the institute has the right to hold you back in that semester. So this is very crucial. So you have to maintain your attendance whenever the class will start. These classes are the bridge course where you all have been given orientation about law. Okay. Ayush, classes will begin soon. Please wait for an official announcement from our side. Okay. Any other questions, student? Arbiter means arbiter means the decision itself, and ratio decidendi means the ratio of the judgment. That means the reason of the judgment. So every judgment has two parts: ratio decidendi and arbiter dicta. Ratio by R, ratio means reason, arbiter means the decision. Any specific newspaper? See, for now, you can read any kind of a newspaper. Every newspaper carries some legal. And see, what am I? Why am I asking you to go for newspapers? That it will increase your knowledge, enhance your knowledge, right? For specific newspaper, like for competitive exams, generally students go, plan for going judiciary and civil services. There, student refer the Hindu or Economics Times as their subject, as regular newspaper, because the articles there, the news there are written in a very flared and different language, I can say professional language, and gives a very crisp and clear news about any subject. So generally, students planning to go for competitive exams refer the newspapers like the Hindu or Economics Times, and they also refer different kinds of magazines available. That we'll gradually tell you when we'll take your classes. Don't worry. Yes, you can find the journals online. You just Google it, you'll find it, Sanya. And there are various journals. Check out various NLUs. They also publish their journal. Check out Gibbs online journal. We check out our journal also. Your college also publish a journal. There are various articles. Check out the publication of Gibbs itself on the website, students. You'll finding there is a magazine also. There also it has various articles and interviews by various judges. So and our students were the one who we those who went for taking the interviews of the judges. So you'll find it very fascinating. Go through it, students. Tina, I think we have talked much about how history helps in law. History is about past. Simple example, I must tell you, all the cases which have been decided in past. History as such, we are not asking you to study Akbar, Mughal history or this. I'm talking about legal history. So the evolution of legal structure system is very important. There are various laws in India which have been borrowed from various other nations, and they have a very deep rooted connection with when we say society, law is related with society. That means that law is related with this system and structure of history also. So as I say, the like for example, customs, if we talk about, when do a custom becomes law or a custom is a law? That is a question to be analyzed now. So here comes the role of history. Yes, so when we talk about any custom, for example, bursting crackers on Diwali, were we allowed this time to burst crackers? Is it a custom ritual we were following? And there are various cases also on this customary law. There is Shabrimala case, if you all remember, this Shabrimala where women are not been allowed to enter into this temple because it will destroy the sanctity of the deity. So this was the custom, but it has been questioned in the Honorable Supreme Court, and Supreme Court came up with its judgment that, and the judgment, and then again there was a lady judge who gave a dissenting opinion. So again, these are the things which need to be analyzed. So this is how, when customs becomes law or when we can question that custom. So here is the importance of history also comes in law, that which we are using from a very long time. When people are become so habitual of it, can we make that particular habit or ritual as law? What if, because law, what is law? Law is for the enjoyment, for the pleasure and not pain. But if it is causing lot of pain to others, then we need to convert it into a subserve law or a rule. We need to remove it otherwise, right? I hope I have answered all your questions, students. Thank you so much for being so patient and hearing and giving us your queries. So you will be joining tomorrow at 11, and we'll be giving you a demo with respect to Manupatra, a search engine. Please do attend that session. It will be very interesting and informative for you all. Thank you, students.